So, some of you out there may be struggling with the Dredge's Adept. Now, the thing is, Dredge actually does have a really challenging Adept. He is quite a strong killer, but during his Adept challenge, for those of you trying to go for the achievement, he actually does have some stuff that really works against him. So, in this video, I'm going to be taking you through exactly what you should be doing and how you should be playing to make sure that you can absolutely scratch Dredge off the Adept killer lists that some of you may or may not have. So, let's get straight to the build. So, here we go, folks. This is 100% the build that I would recommend to anybody trying to get the Dredge. Now we'll quickly go through it and describe exactly why it is you should be running this. So of course the three teachable perks that you must use and only use for this challenge is Darkness Revealed. When you search a locker, the aura of all survivors within 8 meters of any other locker are revealed to you for 5 seconds before it goes on a short cooldown. His next teachable perk is Disillusion. 3 seconds after injuring a survivor by any means, Disillusion activates for 20 seconds. Whilst it's active, if a survivor vaults over any pallet inside of your terror radius, the entity will instantly break that pallet at the end of the vault and Disillusion will be deactivated. And finally, we have Septic Touch, which makes it so whenever a survivor performs the healing action within your terror radius, they will suffer from the blindness and exhaustion status effect, and the effects linger for 10 seconds after a healing action is also interrupted by any means. And then for the add-ons, the ones that I would recommend are the Field Recorder, which makes Nightfall active at the start of the trial. It will automatically trigger at the end of the trial when the last generator is completed, and any survivor that comes into contact with your Remnant, which is the shadow that you leave behind when you charge your power, will be exhausted for 15 seconds. And then we're also going to be pairing that with the Boat Key, which increases teleportation speed by 25% when you're not in Nightfall, and when the generators are powered up, all active locks are instantly broken. And finally, just to complete the build, the Dusty Noose map offering, because Grave of Glenvale Dead Dog Saloon is one of the best maps for killer in the game, and again it is fantastic for the Dredge because of the locker capabilities. The locker kind of are really well placed, so there's not many dead zones for the Dredge, and it is one of the smallest, so you'll hopefully constantly be in chases. So let's quickly go through his perks. Now the only one you're actually going to get value out of is Darkness Revealed, because whenever you're not in chase and outside of Nightfall, if you open a locker when it's active, you'll be able to hopefully find somebody that you can then chase next. Unfortunately, when it comes to Disillusion and Septic Touch, it can actually get a little bit tricky, because since they are both terror related perks, Dredge actually loses his terror radius in Nightfall, so he is really handicapped by 2 of his own perks, which really can suck. But these are the perks that you've got, so you need to try to use them to their best. The only one that you're going to get consistent value out of is Darkness Revealed. And then for the add-on, the reason why we're going to be running the Field Recorder is because Nightfall is when Dredge is at his strongest. If you are in Nightfall, you are a happy, slimy, meaty boy. So, at the start of the trial, being able to immediately use Nightfall, charge your power quickly to be able to teleport, it really is handy. And the fact that it also can happen at the end game, and if survivors do get confident enough to interact with your Remnant, there'll also be repercussions there. And then another really strong add-on for him is the Boat Key. The main reason why we're actually using this is because it increases the teleportation speed by 25% when not in Nightfall. Since he is much slower at teleporting outside of Nightfall, this kind of helps make up the slack and make sure that you can be as quick as possible, as effective as possible, and be in the chases as often as you can. And honestly, that is pretty much it for the build and why we run it. Now it is time to get to some little tips and tricks, kind of some stuff that you can do to really kind of cement your victory and to make sure that you can get Adept as quickly as you can. So what to do early game? Remember to use Nightfall quickly to find survivors in the chase. At the start of the game, your power will charge in maybe 4 seconds, so after that make sure you use it and bounce from locker to locker, trying to find survivors through Killer Instinct. The second that you find 1 or 2, leave the locker, go in straight for the chase. Ideally, you want to be in the chase with a survivor at least 10-15 seconds into the game. It can really be that quick with him. Also, don't be afraid to use Nightfall teleportation in a chase. Making up distance is so important and also grants more points for teleporting. So if a survivor's got a little bit of distance, if you've hit them and they've run off, make sure that you constantly keep thinking if you can teleport somewhere closer to shorten that distance and to make sure you can guarantee that down. And speaking of Nightfall, please make sure that you take full advantage of Nightfall as often as you can, whether that be to check gens, find survivors, or to make distance in loops. Nightfall is when he is at his absolute best, so make sure you use it for as much info and pressure against the survivors that you possibly can. I properly mean that Nightfall is when Dredge is at his scariest. Also for morale, remember that for the most part, every DBD game, the first 2 gens are always free. Do not worry in the slightest when the first 2 gens pop. If you can delay it by 5 minutes, that's just going to set you up for a really, really good time. But if you lose 2 gens in the first minute and a half, 2 minutes, do not worry. It kind of happens. Rotating 7 gens is difficult with no gen perks, so do not lose hope. Just make sure that you don't panic, maintain your composure, and I'm sure you'll be able to rally it up. Again, not helping by the fact that his perks have nothing to do with gens. Remember that the remnant to teleport back to it in a loop is much stronger in the smaller loops than the longer ones, so use it short and snappy to get the best results. Large connected loops can often make survivors leave it entirely and completely waste your time. And if you're out of a chase, don't have Nightfall, remember to use Darkness Reveal to try and find hiding or busy survivors. As I said, the other 2 perks don't really work well for the Dredge as they're terror radius based, so make sure that you are trying to take full advantage of Darkness Revealed when you are out of a chase. Also, break locks as well to build your strength on map presence, and they also offer 200 points per break, which is really good for just chipping up the numbers that you need to hit Merciless. So if you see a locker that is closed, smack it, get the points, because it actually makes Dredge stronger, not being able to slow down when you teleport to a locker that's blocked off. Right, the next tip, and a very, very important one, is do not tunnel. Do not tunnel whatsoever. It will absolutely cook you because you need chase points. What you need to do is try to cycle your aggression between 2 different survivors to make sure that you're constantly on somebody and that somebody goes out as soon as possible. As I said, you need the point for chases and hook states, so don't tunnel. However, keep in mind who you're chasing, as being able to get somebody out as soon as possible will really help your pressure throughout the rest of the game. Also, a tip for Nightfall. Remember that Nightfall takes 3 seconds to activate, so the second that you see the screen start to dim, you wait 3 seconds. If you rush and teleport immediately, you will travel at base speed and not have the benefits of Killer Instinct. I've done this far too many times where I've been like, oh, it's Nightfall, quickly teleport, whereas you have to let it settle in, if you get what I mean. So, make sure that you wait 3 seconds and then use your power as freely as possible. Next, if survivors try to body block a teammate, or if there's 2 healthy survivors close by that maybe are a little bit unaware, try to hit them both. It will charge Nightfall faster the more injured survivors that you have, and it will also make the survivors waste time healing and getting them off those gens. And finally, at the end game, it is more than acceptable to slug to get the 4k, but don't do it too early. As I said, you need as many hook states as you can, ideally 12 of them. They are absolutely crucial to getting your Adept, so don't slug at 5 gens and expect the Adept. I've also done it in the past where I've even purposefully let survivors rescue off the hook. You want the game to be as long as possible whilst also maintaining as much pressure to make sure that you're in control, gathering the points that you need for the Merciless. And with that, guys, I really do think and hope that you'll have a much easier time whilst trying to get this Adept. It can be a real nightmare. Dredge is actually one of the tougher ones in the game, so definitely have a little bit of patience, but keep cool, keep your head straight, and I'm sure you will eventually get there. This is just everything that I do to really make that process easier for you. So, if this actually helped, if you went away from this and got Adept, make sure you come back, like and subscribe for more, because I'm doing a lot of content right now, more or less daily vids. And whilst you're at it, don't forget to follow me on Twitch, where I'm live 4 days a week. Often it's DBD Killer as well. So if you have any questions or anything you want to say to me, come by. It would be lovely to have you. But that's enough for me today. I have rambled far too long. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Take care. Bye bye for now.